Greatness can come from anywhere.
I draw inspiration from the Filipino people and to God and my family. Hard work is the most difficult things in boxing.
Let's get into it. Let me tell y'all something, man. I'm gonna see if people be in the comments, because people was in the comments real heavy when I was talking about Bud beating Spence. Oh no, Spence gonna walk him down. Spence too big. Spence too strong. What happened? Spence ain't do nothing, man. So that is 2 pound for pound fighters that made their opponent, top tier opponents, look like they was average. First, in New Way made Stephen Fulton look ordinary in Japan when he moved up and became a unified champion his first fight at that weight division. Extraordinary. Then turn the page. July 29th, Terrence Bud Crawford showed the world, showed the media, showed his fans, and showed the fans of ERROL Spence that, you know what, I'm not only pound for pound the best fighter in the world, but I'm a man of my word. I told y'all I was going to beat this man. And Spence was talking about it was going to be a one-sided ass whooping, and it was. But he was the one that got his ass whooped. Terrence Bud Crawford beat the hell out of ERROL Spence. Did you see ERROL Spence's face? ERROL Spence's face looked like Ugas' face. So I'm trying to tell y'all, karma, it does come back around. So what Spence was doing to his opponents, what did Terrence Bud Crawford do? He made ERROL Spence look like his past opponents. Beat up, broke up, banged up. I ain't gonna lie, man, I felt bad for ERROL. He got knocked down, not once, not twice. ERROL Spence got knocked down 3 times, y'all. And then ultimately he wound up getting stopped. Now, shout out to Bo Matt, because he said, man, I can't wait because I want to see what the excuses are going to be. And guess what? It was excuses. Derrick James had the nerve to get on the podium and say, yeah, I saw his legs didn't look right. You know what I'm saying? His timing was off. So what the hell was y'all doing in camp? What was y'all doing in camp? ERROL Spence, you know what I'm saying? He had a little layoff. So what was his excuse? He should have been in the gym training. He should have been running. He should have been sparring. Everybody talk about the stable and all this kind of shit, you know what I mean? But guess what? You know what I mean? Like, where was your stable mates at? I seen Frank Martin running with Spence one time, you know what I mean? So why weren't you sparring with Charlo? Why weren't you sparring, anybody? I know it's hard to find somebody to mimic Terrence Bud Crawford's style, but you should at least been sparring. It's no excuse. And the fact that it is excuses, it kind of speaks to how bad the ERROL Spence got beat. He not only got beat, he not only got knocked out, he not only got stopped. ERROL Spence got outclassed. Everybody knows ERROL Spence, man. He's a pressure fighter, great jab. He grinds his opponents. Terrence Bud Crawford, Bud looked even better than I thought he was going to look. Although he did, I told you, if he could punch in between ERROL shots, if he can utilize that great footwork that Terrence Crawford has, and Terrence Crawford, he also went to the body. The things that Spence does generally in fights to make him successful, Bud flipped the script and did the same thing to ERROL Spence, beat him up to the body. You know what I mean? Had the dominant jab. I'm talking about, and more importantly, let me point this out. Bud Crawford, he beat Spence as a southpaw. So not only was he the better fighter, not only is he a switch hitter, but he fought the fight predominantly in his southpaw stance. He beat Spence literally at his own game. This is the type of fight that makes you really look back and think, you know what, is it time to hang it up? And guess what? You heard Roy Jones, you heard a couple of people talking about, maybe he should retire, man. You know what I mean? This is ERROL. They said the same thing for Spence and Crawford, but they said Crawford can walk off into the sunset because he had I'm talking about, that was a hell of a fight. That's the kind of fight, just like when SOG and a couple other guys, you know what I mean? Like when you have a great fight, you decide that, you know what, it's time to hang it up and walk away. ERROL Spence, even though he said he's going to initiate that rematch clause, but I don't see anything different happening. It was that type of fight. ERROL Spence won. He didn't win any rounds. There was no spots in that fight that made you think like, damn, in a rematch, man, ERROL can do this better. Because ERROL's style was ERROL's style. I told y'all, many people told y'all, a lot of the pros said the same thing. Like, his style is his style. It has worked for as long as it has worked. But once you come across somebody of the caliber of a Terrence Bud Crawford, you got to do something different. And Bud, he did a couple of things different in this camp. He had a pre-camp. He brought in some more team. He brought in some more trainers, and he already got a stable of trainers, but he brought in some new pieces to help him out with this camp. I told y'all before, man, like Terrence Crawford was locked in months before this fight even happened. Before the fight was even announced, Bud Crawford was in the gym getting ready, sharpening his tools for ERROL Spence. I told y'all this. And people was in the comments, man, nah, man, you just like Crawford. You look at all my videos that I did on these guys, man. I was fair on both fronts. I didn't necessarily pick a side until the fight was here. And I got to shout out to Bud Crawford on there. No, he said a fight like this, you know what, you got to pick a side. And it took me a while to really think about it and come to a conclusion. But at the same time, he was right. I mean, you talking about this is history. This is legacy. Yes, it is a 50-50 fight, but everybody gonna have a favorite in the fight. Somebody that they think on that night is gonna be the better man. And I thought it was Bud Crawford. And guess what? I was right. Go back and check out the video. While you at it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bud Crawford is pound for pound the best fighter in the sport of boxing. Yes, Jerron Boots Ennis is the future of the 147-pound division, but right now, Bud Crawford, he is the man. And the irony about it is, Bud Crawford, he been the man. It's a reason why they had him on the pound-for-pound list as number one, although ERROL Spence was a unified champion at 147. He was collecting straps left and right, but he could never crack that number one spot on a pound-for-pound list. That should have told a lot of those Spence fans, like, it's like, when it came down to the fight, even Vegas had Crawford winning. I told y'all this before. Terence Crawford was undefeated in Vegas. Who was right about that yet again? I was. But you know what? Because I'm enjoying the fact that Bud Crawford, not only he beat Spence, but I'm enjoying how he beat Spence. Because Crawford said that, he said it, man. He said that y'all was blackballed. They was hating on me. They, you know what I mean? They was talking about me not fighting nobody, but at the same time, they were the reason why I couldn't get the fights that I wanted. Because number one, they was holding up the division. And on top of that, you know what I mean? Like, quote unquote, a lot of the other guys was on the other side of the street. So all that, man, Bud was just suppressing it, just adding it on to the ass whooping. And when fight night came, boy, let me tell y'all something, man. Bud opened up the floodgates on Spence. He opened up the floodgates. And ERROL Spence got caught in a Bud Crawford tsunami, and he got swept away. Spence looked like a shell of himself. And even if you go up to 154, you're not going to do better than what you did at 147. Because just like you're strong, or you think you could be stronger at 154, guess what? Bud Crawford is going to be stronger. Y'all made a huge mistake allowing Bud Crawford to fill into that weight class without, you know what I'm saying, giving him that Spence fight early. And it came back to bite him in the ass. And you heard Bomac say, when somebody asked him about, you know what I'm saying, like ERROL Spence's style and when he thought he was in trouble and all that. And besides Bomac, man, a lot of people said the same thing. And Bud even said the same thing. Like, he knew round one how this fight was going to go. Everybody thought that Bud was going to start the fight slow. It was going to take a couple of rounds for both of these guys to fill each other out. But Crawford, he did what I thought he was going to do. He locked in from round one. He still was computing. He still was, you know what I mean, trying to figure out what ERROL Spence was going to bring to the table. But he got busy early. So what Crawford did was truly impressive in this fight. A lot of stuff that we talked about Crawford that he had to do different in this fight, starting early, going to the body, having a better jab. And on top of that, Bud Crawford wound up being the stronger and the more physical fighter. I told y'all this, man. Strength does not equate to power, and power does not equate to strength. Derrick James should have possibly stopped the fight before the 9th round. He was talking to the doctors and all that, and he felt as though, you know, he saw this was wrong, but he still let Spence fight. Derrick James is spreading himself thin. He got too many fighters over there. Yes, it sounds good, looks good on paper. You got Anthony Joshua, you got ERROL Spence, you got Charlo, you got Frank Martin, you got Ryan Garcia. You know what I mean? And you got the other guys in the gym who's just training, working out. Who knows? They possibly trying to be pro or are pro, or they're just working on future fights or whatever. So Derrick James, man, like, he's spreading himself kind of thin. And the day after the fight, he got to fly to London to go out there with Anthony Joshua. So with Derrick James' mind really 100% locked in for this camp, because the way ERROL Spence looked, it looked like ERROL Spence wasn't locked in 100%. And not only it showed, but it showed badly, because he got the worst beating of his career. First time he got knocked down, first time he got stopped, first time he got knocked out, first time he lost. All that happened in one night. And Bud, he made it look easy.
Fatality.